How's it going, Knicks fans? Welcome back to another episode of Fireside Knicks. I'm your host, Dylan Backer, and I'm joined by my brother and co-host, Justin Backer, as usual. And today, the New York Knicks spoiled Victor Wembanyama's Madison Square Garden debut. They beat the San Antonio Spurs pretty much from start to finish in a dominant fashion. 126-105 was the final score. Very, very good team win once again. Very, very pleased with today's win. I thought everybody pretty much did their part and played very well. We're gonna get right into it and talk all about those kind of things. So without further ado, I'm gonna pass it off to Justin. He's gonna give us his recap and his biggest takeaways and anything else he wants to add. So go for it.
Yeah, as you alluded to, the Knicks basically dominated this game from start to finish. They came out and immediately jumped out to a 13-0 lead. You kind of went, whoa, okay, I've never seen the offense look this explosive before. But, they basically they had their foot on the gas from start to finish. I mean, a 13-0 lead, and they kind of just never let up. They went up as big as, I believe, 30 points at one point. And, yeah, it kind of just stayed that big, giant lead for really 3.5 quarters, I'll say, because in the fourth quarter, the Spurs kind of started to cut into that a little bit. And I believe they got it down to 14, and you kind of started to go, what's going on here? Are we about to do the thing again where we blow a big lead? But they didn't do that. They ended up pulling away, and they ended up winning this game by 21 points. It's just a dominating fashion. Way to spoil Victor Wembanyama's MSG debut, because there was a lot of hype and buzz going into this game of, Wemby's coming into MSG. Is he going to destroy the Knicks? You know what I mean? So glad to see that he didn't do that, especially because I'm going to get into that. Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, two guys I'm going to highlight first before I get into anybody else. Those guys shut Victor Wembanyama down today. Victor only had 14 and 9 in this game, 4 for 14 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. I believe he started this game like 0 for 7 from the field. He couldn't buy a shot. I don't think he even had a field goal until the third quarter. So just domination. Mitchell Robinson had those comments the other day where he said, I'm going to treat this kind of like a Kristaps Porzingis bowl type of thing. And a lot of people went, are you dumb? Victor's going to destroy you. A lot of people on social media were saying that. And yeah, you better learn Mitchell Robinson's name real quick if you said that, because Mitchell Robinson just made him look foolish. She just made the first overall pick, a generational prospect, look human, really. First 5 or 6 games this season so far, Wemby's looked amazing. Exactly as advertised. And today he just looked human. You know what I mean? So I thought they're the MVPs of this game, in my opinion. They completely took Victor out of this game. It's a big reason the Knicks won by so much because, as we alluded to last episode, the Spurs are not that great of a team, obviously. They have Victor. They have some nice young pieces. This is a different Spurs team, a rejuvenated Spurs team, really, but they still are not nearly on the Knicks level, and it showed tonight. The Knicks just took care of business. And Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein are big reasons why. So shout out to them. Getting into some other key performers today, the big three really they just did their thing today. Brunson had 25, 6 assists. He was 8 for 19 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3. He kind of started this game quietly. I believe he started like 1 for 7 or something like that. Then in the second quarter, he hit 3 threes in a row, and you kind of just went, okay, he's alive now. He's awake. So yeah, just another great game from him, really. RJ Barrett continues to perform well, man. He's creating a most improved player case, really. I mean, I know Cam Thomas probably has that award wrapped up unless he misses a lot of time with an injury or something like that. But RJ Barrett is making a really, really, really good case here. 24 points again today, 6 assists, 5 for 9 from 3, man. His 3 ball is he's knocked down from 3 this year. I don't know where this came from. I don't know. Last year he couldn't buy a jumper at the beginning of the year. I believe he was, he had that cold stretch the first 6 or 7 games where he's like 0 for 20 something from 3 before he finally hit one. This year he's knocking down his threes. His floaters look good. The little 3 to 10 foot range, kind of that area. He's been efficient from there. He's been efficient from 3. He's playing at a different level, at a different pace that we really haven't seen from him. We've kind of been waiting on this to happen, and I don't want to be premature, but I think the year 5 leap may be real. This seems sustainable. He already missed time with an injury and still looks perfectly fine. In the past, he would get on a roll, get injured, and he'd come back looking like a shell of himself. That's not the case here. He already missed 2 games with a knee injury, and the knee clearly is not affecting him. He is still playing at a very high level. So that's really great to see. Julius Randle, another good game for him. 23 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 for 19 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. These last 2 games, he's looked more like last year's version. I'm starting to worry less and less with him as the games kind of play out. First few games of the season, man, we were so worried about him, but these last 2 games have been a breath of fresh air. He looks a lot more like his usual self. So that's great to see. Emmanuel Quickly was awesome in this game too. 19 points, 5 assists off the bench, just providing that spark, just being a very fun bench player, man. I love watching him play, dude. He's a joy to watch. All in all, great team win. They really did a great job of shutting down Wembanyama. Everyone got involved in this one. The whole team ate really. So, you know, great win, man. Great back to back, great team wins. We love to see this.
Yeah, first off, excellent takeaways as usual. I think you hit the nail on the head on everything, especially, with Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein, especially. I mean, Victor Wembanyama just couldn't get anything going in this game, and that was, like you said, a huge reason why they won by as much as they did. The Spurs have talented players. Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. Those are good basketball players. They're not scrubs. They're not, maybe they're not like all stars just yet, but they're on the trajectory to become that kind of player. But Victor Wembanyama, as we know, is already, a freak of nature. Up to this point, I think he was averaging 20 points a game. He had like 2 blocks a game, was shooting efficiently as well from not only the inside, but also from three-point land. The Knicks shut him down completely. I mean, Victor Wembanyama really put up a stinker, and it's really because, like what you said, because of Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, especially Mitchell Robinson, though. Mitchell Robinson has been a different animal this season, and he really needs to start getting some respect. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, most people that aren't Knicks fans really don't know who Mitchell Robinson is. They got to learn him real quick, like you said. They got to know his name really quick because Mitchell Robinson is going to make a name for himself as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I really can see that happening. Do I think he's going to win the award? It's way too early to say that right now. But, I did say before the season that he would make an all-defense team. And right now, I don't want to sound cocky, but my prediction's looking pretty spot on at the moment. He's playing at a very, very dominant level inside. And really, I haven't seen him play like this at all. We always say this every episode about how good he's been. But Mitchell Robinson has been probably the team's most impactful player through these first 8 games. And it's really showing. It really showed tonight against Victor Wembanyama. And another thing I want to touch on with this game, too. The Knicks only turned the ball over 3 times compared to the Spurs 13. They were passing the ball well. They were efficient with it. They were hitting their shots. They were finding the good looks, and they were also knocking them down. They shot 46% from the field, and 45% from three. They actually were knocking down their shots. They were finding the open look, making the right passes, looking at the right reads, not making silly mistakes on offense, taking care of the basketball especially. Those are some things we just always want to see every game, and they put that on display tonight, and I was really pleased with that. Jalen Brunson in particular, he had 6 assists and 0 turnovers, which is just awesome. Like you said, Brunson kind of started this game off a little slow offensively, but he really picked it up after the first quarter. Really happy to see him put in a nice game, 25-point effort. That's just the Jalen Brunson we always want to see. And it's always refreshing to see our big three put up big numbers in these types of games, even if it is just an absolute mismatch, playing against a team that is significantly worse than you are. You always want to see, if the Knicks are so good, you want to see them beat bad teams like this. They're supposed to beat a bad team by 21 points and dominate them from start to finish, and that's exactly what they did tonight. Overall, though, I mean, I was, like what you said, just really impressed with the victory. Second straight good team win. They beat the Clippers. When James Harden's Clippers debut looked like they were going to be up for the task going up against really a super team in LA. Dominated them really. Well, maybe dominated is not really as a bit of a stretch, but they played well from start to finish in that game, and they played well from start to finish in this game. I don't know what woke them up, but something did, and right now this team's looking a lot better than it did just a week ago. Now they're 4-4 on the season. Let's hope they continue that trajectory. They hope they, continue to play like this. This is the exact type of basketball we've been wanting to see from them all season. We're finally seeing it right now. I know it's still early in the season, so when I say all season, it sounds cliche, but it's just we want to see them come out of the gate and play good right away. And now we're finally starting to see some really good basketball, not just from one or two guys, too, from the entire team. The entire team is really doing their part, and I think that really goes a long way in this. You know what I mean? One or two guys can always do their job. Like, for example, RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson have been doing their part pretty much all season. But when the whole team collectively is doing their part in each game, they're going to win a lot more games doing that. You know what I mean? It's going to take a big team effort to get a lot of wins this season, especially running a 9-man rotation. You're running a smaller rotation than most teams. You're going to need a whole collective effort to get a lot of victories. That's the type of game that I want to see every time. This game that they had against San Antonio tonight, I want to see those every single time. Obviously, you're not going to see them every single game because it's not possible. It's a long season. Sometimes injuries might come in the way. We have already seen that happen this year. RJ missed 2 games and they lost both those games. So as long as the team can stay healthy throughout most of the season and continue to play together well as a unit, not just like one or two guys doing all the work, they're going to win a lot of games this year. those are some of my biggest takeaways though from this Spurs game. Overall, I was just really impressed with it. There's not much else to add because I mean this was a wire to wire win. The Knicks literally, like you said, dominated from start to finish. We're up 13-0 at the start of the game and really never looked back. I don't think the game really even got within single digits until since from early in the first quarter onward. They were up by double figures pretty much the entire time, which is a very good thing to see. I'm going to pass it back off to you, Justin, if you got anything else you want to add and anything else you want to say, maybe to preview the next game they got, later this week. So go for it.
Yeah, I just want to touch on the turnovers thing. You mentioned that the Knicks only had 3 turnovers tonight. I think that's huge. This team's kind of turnover prone sometimes a little bit. I don't want to say they're turnover prone because they don't turn the ball over that much, but they have started out this year a little turnover prone. Randall's had a couple games this season already with +5 turnovers. Same thing with Brunson, which is kind of uncharacteristic to see. Both of them took care of the ball tonight. Randall only had 2 turnovers. I don't think Brunson had any, like you said. So really good to see that. You love to see them taking care of the ball. When they take care of the ball, the offense is going to flow great, and that's how we dropped 126 points. So, that's just great to see. Another thing, they hit their threes, like you said. I believe they shot 46% from three, something great. You know what I mean? So just another good shooting performance. When they shoot well and they take care of the basketball, the offense is going to be amazing. The Knicks already defend super well. So if they can kind of add to it on the offensive end and also play great offense, man, this is going to be a tough team to beat. You know what I mean? I don't obviously I'm a Knicks fan. I'm going to be a little biased, but it's going to be a tough team to beat when they're defending as well as they have been this season and they're capable of playing offense like this. So, great thing, great all in all, just great team effort these last 2 games. You really like to see, a 9-man rotation like that just ball out, really. It's going to take a collective effort, like you said, with a small rotation, and you're going to need 9 strong to do it. And that's what the Knicks have done these last 2 games. The next game, the next play, I believe, is on Saturday. They play the Hornets. That should be another easy game. I don't mean to sound, cocky or anything or arrogant, but that's another opponent that the Knicks really should blow out. So hopefully we get another easy win. Hopefully we're talking about 3 wins in a row on Saturday. Hopefully we move to 5 and 4 as they should. Because after that, they have the Celtics and then the Hawks right after. So 2 tough games following this one. This would be really nice to come out of this 3-game stretch here against the Clippers, Spurs, and Hornets with 3 wins. That would just be great, especially because, looking ahead at the time after the Bucks game, you could have went, okay, that's maybe 2-1 because, we figured we would have lost to the Clippers. But they beat the Clippers by a lot. They beat the Clippers by double digits. I don't. It's great to see. This is what I was expecting to see from the Knicks this season. I was expecting to see good basketball. I was expecting them to see competitive basketball. And yeah, I'm very pleased with what I saw today, man. So that's really all I got to say about this one. Just another great team win. Shout out Mitchell Robinson again for shutting down Victor Wembanyama. That's just, man, I'm really proud of him, man. He's playing so great, dude. I'm actually so happy about that because I don't know. I was always one of his biggest critics, in 2021. He couldn't stay healthy, and when he was healthy, he was getting the foul trouble. His play was kind of inconsistent, but man, he's a different animal. Your all defensive take that you made about him is looking spot on so far. He's definitely making a case for that. RJ Barrett, like I said too, he's making an most improved player case. We're finally seeing the leaps that we've been waiting for some of these guys, so it's really just great to see it happen in front of our eyes. And man, I'm excited for the future, dude. This is becoming something fun.
Right. First off, excellent points. And second, I just want to correct, for accuracy, the next game is Sunday, not Saturday. But I don't want to be that petty brother that's correcting you on the date. I just wanted to, make sure that's accurate for the people listening at home. But regardless, they do play the Hornets next, so that is correct. And even with that, that should be a very easy win, like you said. I mean, they still got to face LaMelo Ball, which is, he's a very good player, of course. And I'm pretty sure they got to face Gordon Hayward and guys like that as well. They have some talented players, but they are not a good basketball team. They really should come out of that one with a win, and especially since it is at the Garden. They seem to finally get their rhythm together at the Garden because I believe they lost their first 2 games at home this year, and now they've won their last 2. So, and their last 2 wins have also been very good wins at that. So it seems like they're kind of getting in the flow of things at home. They're not, having the home troubles that they did, 2 seasons ago when it seemed like they just couldn't win at home for whatever reason it was. So really just hoping that they come out, have a really strong game against Charlotte, and make it 3 wins in a row. Because then they got Boston again after that, and that's of course going to be very tough. Hopefully they can get their vengeance against Boston, but we don't want to look too far deep into the future. We'll cover that one after the Hornets game. But you know, overall, just really, really pleased with what they did against San Antonio tonight. Really pleased with what they did against the Clippers 2 nights ago. And I just hope to see this exact same thing against Charlotte on Sunday. And just real quick, too, I want to add, with the Mitchell Robinson stuff, I did say he was going to be all defense, and obviously you don't want to make that assumption that it's going to continue this way 8 games into the season. But I feel a little proud of myself that I feel like I kind of had a good bold prediction for once. If I remember my bold predictions, they included that the Knicks would win 50 games and that Mitchell Robinson would make all defense. The Knicks winning 50 games, that's a long ways from now if we'll really know if that's going to come to fruition. But so far, man, if Mitchell Robinson keeps playing like this, I really could see him not only making all defense team, but being the defensive player of the year conversation. Like I said, it's too early to say if he's going to win that award because we're only 8 games in. You don't want to speculate about who's winning awards this close into the season. But I mean, if he continues this, man, it's going to be fun to watch, and I'm really happy to see the leap he's taking. You and I actually made a video back in the offseason talking about if Mitchell Robinson could make that leap in year 6 for him, because this is his 6th season in the NBA. And we had been talking pretty highly about him, because especially in that playoff series against Cleveland last year, he looked really good, looked really healthy. He looked strong out there. He looked, physical. He was not afraid to, get some contact, to get into the paint with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley in that series. And, this year, the biggest change I'm noticing, he just looks more athletic and he's getting into foul trouble significantly less, which is tremendous because he's able to be on the floor more, and we obviously see how impactful he is when he's out there on the floor, and they have a really good center tandem with him and Hartenstein. I put out a tweet saying it's kind of like having Tim Duncan and David Robinson, even though, obviously that's not the most accurate thing, but, I think it's pretty funny having our own little center tandem like that. So, just really happy to see what they're doing. And like you said, I agree with you that, this team could be really fun to watch. If they have a lot of games like they have the last 2 games, the team's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be tough to really for anybody to beat them if they play like this. Obviously, I don't think the Knicks are the best team in the Eastern Conference, but I really think they can make the conversation of being possibly the third best team in the Eastern Conference, or, the fourth best team, somewhere in that range. I think they're not too far off from being, in that top tier. Obviously, I think Milwaukee and Boston are still above them and probably will be all season, but, who knows? Maybe they can make some noise. I know Philly's off to a really hot start as well, but maybe we could end up being on their level midway through the season or around Christmas time. That's stuff, of course, that you don't want to look too deep into because it's way ahead of us from now. It's another month or two before we can really start having those kind of conversations. But all in all, that's all I got to add. We're gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Really appreciate you guys' support. Let us know what you got to say about these last 2 wins in the comment section below. I'm sure you guys got a lot to say about them. We'd love to hear it. Follow us on all of our social platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Of course, this YouTube page that you're watching the video on. The audio versions of these podcasts are going to be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating on those. Our personal Twitter accounts are above our heads. You can follow us on there. We talk some basketball or talk any sports really on there. We cover a lot of New York sports on Empire Sports Media. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on this YouTube video, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of Fireside Knicks. Peace out.